Nonanalytical. That's how Dan Rashbaum described Donna Adelson during his interview on Surviving the Survivor during January of 2024. This is Human Essence, and in today's video, we're going to talk about what did he mean by that? Okay, so when we look at the evidence to do with Donna Adelson, we have the fact that she paid Katie for a good amount of time from the Adelson Institute, put her on the payroll. We have the recordings of her speaking to her son, saying the two of us, and her calls to Oscar from the bump, who went by the name of Sammy or Simon or something at that time. So we have that, but the thing that makes her seem the worst are her emails to Wendy Adelson, where she says all kinds of bad words to describe her son-in-law, where she is coming up with plans to get at him, like enrolling the children in Catholic school, even though he's Jewish, and it's very important to him that they learn about Judaism. The fact that she brings up putting Nazi uniforms on them to get their way. She's referring to something that her son said about what people did during World War II in order to spy on the Nazis. So she says a number of pretty awful things, and this needs to be explained away. Now, one of the things that he mentioned during this interview was that we hadn't seen the other side of these emails, what Wendy had said and what Dan said. And I hope that he does not start to blame the victim in this case, because I really doubt that that would go over well with a jury. In other words, that Donna was writing these horrible things because she was responding to Dan Markel, that's inexcusable. So one of the things he also mentions is how terrible family law is and how terrible people are when they're going through a divorce, custody battle, etc. But I would argue that there is no worse place for people to end up than in the criminal court. Even family law cases are not too bad unless they end up in the criminal court. So, hiding money and so on, those are also criminal activities, aren't they? So I would say the worst of human nature comes out in the criminal court. Also, is the argument that when feelings run high and a person's non-analytical, they would write the things that Donna wrote? I don't think that will go by on a jury either, because most people might be upset. They might behind closed doors call the person names or be really angry for a time, but that's completely different from making plans to use the children against that person by a grandmother, not even one of the parties to the divorce. So to say, oh, well, she wasn't really thinking about it when she wrote these emails. She was just reactive. She wasn't analyzing it. She has no control over herself. She's not analytical, which seems to me something like saying she's an emotional mess and she's not very smart. And she does seem to be quite smart. She did a lot of planning to make things ready for her grandchildren, putting money in trusts, moving money around, being very careful what she said to Charlie, speaking in codes, allegedly. So I think that she's not a dumb woman. I think she is analytical. So I don't think that insulting argument is going to go very far. He may see her like that because she did things like call up and say, I don't know what you're talking about. But she did a bit of analysis to come up with that. She also was very careful about when she spoke to Charlie and what she said on the phone. She was trying to be very careful, more careful than he was, who was bringing up the IRS. Now, what's going on there? We don't know. Maybe that's another case that they can get representation for. Anyway, non-analytical, I question that, and I wonder why that phrase was used. I wonder what the argument will be. Then again, I don't know. Thanks for listening. Celebrate uncertainty.